Hello, welcome to
Hello.
Abstraction with me, BP1 and BP2. We are British reactors over here, sat in Britain, and today we are looking at 8 American things that us Brits apparently don't even have a word for. So we're going to see things that we just don't understand, mate. That doesn't even comprehend in our tiny British brains.
Well, we will see. We will see, because sometimes we've done this before, haven't we? They're going, yeah, but we didn't.
That's true.
All right, be interesting.
We shall find out.
So this is Lost in the Pond.
Yes,
again.
good old Lawrence.
Revisiting Lawrence, Lost in the Pond. I hope he's doing well out there, and yeah, see what he's got for us.
Good videos. Lawrence always puts together, takes the time, puts some good videos together, and you know, it's good for us to see those videos and see if we agree. Now that obviously he lives in America now.
He does, married to an American lady, been out there quite a while, as I understand it. So let's see what he's got for us today.
Let's do it.
Very important for British people living in America, like me, to know the difference between the shoe brand and something else that Americans call a hush puppy before I put my foot in it. Literally in the case of the shoe.
Hush puppies.
Okay, hush puppies, yeah.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Brown, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to words. And you and I both know this by now. It's often said that Britain and America are two nations divided by a common language. And what does this mean? It means that English is a prominent language in both countries, but that we have different words and spellings and pronunciations for the same things. But what if I told you right here and now that both Britain and America have things for which the other country doesn't even have words? Well, today I'll be looking at a selection of those from the United States of America, a country I've lived in for the past 13 years. Now, as with all things Britain and America, a lot of these words come back to food, whereas some of them pertain to social customs, the law, and America's obscenely large landscape. And so without further ado, here are 8 American things that Britain doesn't even have a word for.
Okay.
Elephant ear.
Here's a story. Several years ago, my wife took me to the Indiana State Fair. And when I say she took me there, I got absolutely no say in the matter. And even as we stood in line for the world's most famous pig race, I couldn't help but look around me and notice the types of fair food that were on offer. Of course, you had cotton candy, and of course the British do have a word for that. It's candy floss. You had hot dogs, otherwise known in Britain as hot dogs. And then you had elephant ear. And some British people, perhaps even some American people, might be thinking, oh, you ate a part of an elephant? No, thank goodness it's not a real elephant ear. No, this is just a type of fried dough that happens to be shaped like an elephant ear or a frisbee gone wrong. Right. And the reason that I say that some Americans might not recognize this name is that it goes by different pseudonyms. You see, while Britain might not have a word for this, America has plenty. As well as elephant ear and fried dough, it also goes by fry bread. Fry bread, not to be confused with the fried bread that you might find on an English breakfast. Completely different beast. Doughboys. Scones, again not to be confused with an English scone/scone, pizza frit, or my personal favourite, frying saucers. And while we're on the subject of American-derived food, that brings us on to this.
Okay, just
yes,
so it was fried dough. Fried dough?
Fried dough. It looked like deep fried dough, which looks like an elephant ear. So I have an elephant ear, please.
So it's not like our sort of ciabatta style pizza bread doughy thing, is it? Because that's sort of normally oven baked.
Yeah, I can't even think about even how it would be a fried dough. Other than, I mean, a donut is as close as that we would probably class as being a fried dough.
Fried dough. But I mean, that was sort of flat and it looked like a pizza type thing, didn't it? Interesting.
So, we don't know. We don't know. I mean,
it was a very quick picture there of a elephant's ear. So, okay. So
this one's grits, mate.
Grits, yes.
Grits. I mean,
I've heard of grits. We don't have the word grits, and you'll see why.
Grits. Now, on the face of it, grits sound absolutely awful. Because when I think of the word grit, I think of two things. I think of grit to mean courage and resolve and strength of character, but usually sweat. Or grit as in small bits of stone or sand. Either way, I don't want to eat that. No. But it turns out that grit, a Southern American dish, is a type of porridge. And I know what you're thinking, Britain. That's ridiculous, Lawrence. We do have a word for porridge, and it's porridge. This is a specific type of porridge and a big deal in the southern United States. But in the unlikely event that you're thinking of moving to the United States just because you want to live where grits is, but you don't want to move to the southern United States because you can't stomach 400-degree temperatures. In my experience, you can get grits here in the Midwest, and I assume other places in the United States. Second thoughts, it'd be easier just to stay in Britain and look up the recipe online. That's something you can't do so easily with this.
Okay.
What the fuck is that?
Yes, B-U-T-T-E. Now, before I go any further, it's probably important, in the interest of not being demonetized, that I point out that this word is pronounced butte. And it's probably quite an appropriate pronunciation because buttes are often beautiful, or at the very least, stunning. Now, some people might be thinking, get to the point, what on earth is a butte? Well, a butte is a very specific type of hill, and this specific type of hill is not commonly found in Britain. It's a type of hill that has a flat top and vertical or nearly vertical sides. Think of the Mitten Butte in Monument Valley in Arizona, or Devil's Tower in Wyoming, or to give it its official name, Richard Dreyfuss's mashed potato. And now that we're 3 words into the list, do you want me to go on to number 4? In other words, do you want some more?
Do.
Well, yeah, butte. I mean...
Okay, yeah, butte.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have any... We call them tabletop mountains or tabletop hills, wouldn't I would call it. A bit like... but we don't really have them as such. But if we do...
Not those style of things. But then, you know, we, for example, will have the word tor. I mean, I don't know if the Americans use the word tor for... hills and mounds like Tor Abbey and Tor, you know, so those type of things. But yeah, I mean,
T-O-R-R-E, by the way.
Yeah, so those are a specific sort of mountain thingamajigglies. We don't get anything that looks like that remotely, even if we make it out of mashed potato.
No.
All right, so that's a butte.
A butte.
Did you drop a little swear word in there?
I did, yeah. I mean, to be fair, we would swear quite a lot on the channel, but we don't do it because of our audience and. You know, we just don't want every single video to get smashed because we've got swearing in it.
Yes, we try to refrain. So we've had grits. What do you think of grits? I think grits is more sort of like.
I said porridge, but I'd have to.
I think it's more ready brecky than a porridge. I think it's
like
that
instant
consistency.
Porridge. Thick and
yeah,
lumpy.
more sort of like semolina type thing. I think. And we got butte. All right, where we going next?
Well, fair play.
Come on, Lawrence. Yeah, he's doing all right so far.
All right. I haven't really heard of any of those, so fair play.
Oh, do you want some more? Well, bring it on. You see what I did there? When I first moved to the United States, I was offered a s'more and I turned it down because I was frightened of what it might be. And then somebody described the content and my love for them from that moment on only grew, just like my waistline. Of course, Americans know what a s'more is, but this is for my British viewers, i.e. my mum. An official s'more is a roasted marshmallow, right, stuck to a slab of chocolate. Sorry for the noises. And together, they are sandwiched between a graham cracker, right? And if you're wondering what a graham cracker is, it's similar to what the British would call a digestive biscuit, except it's square and Americans pronounce it gram. And because of the fried marshmallow element to all of this, it's perfect to make one while you're camping. And you might be wondering, why is it called s'more with an apostrophe? Because it's a contraction of some more, meaning that my segue surprisingly made sense for once. Unlike this one. Bring on the dogs.
Dogs?
The word car hop has nothing to do with dogs because that would be mental. Furthermore, a car hop is not a type of car that hops because see previous comment. A car hop is somebody who serves you food, but while you're in your car. Now, of course, it's pretty well known that it's a big part of American culture to order food at the drive-thru, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about drive-ins. Drive-ins are a still-lasting remnant of a bygone era here in the United States, where you park your car at the designated drive-in, the car hop comes to you and takes your order, and then brings you your food. And you stay there in this exact same spot right next to the restaurant or cafe or whatever you want to call it. And I personally have come to consider this fine dining, even in a Prius. Allow me to do a quick shout-out to 2 that I've been to. Recently, on my Route 66 journey, I visited the Polka Dot Inn in Braidwood, Illinois. And car hops served me every now and again at Jean's Root Beer stand in Anderson, Indiana. And I am told that in some of the more snazzy quarters of the United States, there are even car hops on roller skates, but they're difficult to find because it's not the 80s anymore.
They got one of the cruise lines has got that, I think, and there's a couple of Asian restaurants where the waiters are all on roller skates, whizzing around.
An official list, you want
Really?
and then mental.
Yeah.
Sense for once.
Sorry, it lost its...
part of American culture to order food at the drive-through, but that's not,
Yeah,
you
I
can't.
mean-
Stay there, whatever you want to. On my Route 66.
I can't say we don't have that at all in the UK.
No.
Do we?
And the other
all.
word that they use is bellhop, isn't it, for in hotels when the guy that takes your luggage and
Your
everything
luggage,
up.
yeah.
Whereas we just call them
Well, it's concierge. It's sort of
Yeah.
bell boys.
bellboy, not bellhop or concierge. You know, if you want to get all fancy dancy.
All fancy in London, sir.
Okay, so you got bellhop, food hop. I think there's some other hops, isn't there?
Get your hops out.
Hip hop. No, not that one. All right. He's doing all right so far. We'll give him that, Lawrence. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Aussie quarters of the United States. There are even car hops on roller skates, but they're difficult to find because it's not the 80s anymore.
Jaywalking. Well, we know this.
Jaywalking. You may remember that I talked about this very topic a few months ago. I had absolutely no idea what jaywalking was. You know, it was a word that cropped up occasionally in films, but I just assumed it was a sport. I thought this was going to be a big deal, right? You know the joke, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, he didn't because he was too much of a chicken. At least that was the case at first, and after my wife had laughed at me 17 times, I started to get the impression that I might be overthinking this. All of the years that I've lived here, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Ooh, did you see Ashley? I think she was jaywalking. Better call the cops." The reason we don't have a word for jaywalking in the UK is because that law doesn't exist. And funnily enough, despite our difficult relationship with rain and drizzle, we also don't have a word for this.
Raincheck. I'll take a raincheck.
Admittedly, perhaps owing to the digital age in which RSVPing or not.
A Raincheck. I'm just trying to work this one out before he says it.
It's, when you say I'll take a raincheck,
I could take a Raincheck. I'm gonna
give it a miss.
give it a miss. Yeah. I'm just trying to work that one out. All right. Let's keep going then. Let's see what he says and why that we wouldn't have a word for that.
Not RSVPing is done at the click of a button. The word Raincheck is sadly one I haven't encountered very often since moving here. But I do remember it featuring a lot in American films in the 80s, so that's good enough for me. Basically, when somebody takes a Raincheck, it's to indicate that that person cannot accept the invitation right now, right? But they'd be happy to turn up in the future. And you might be thinking, why is it called a Raincheck? Does the coming together of people depend on whether or not it's raining? Sort of. You see, it originated in baseball. A coupon might have been handed to a baseball ticket holder when the game was cancelled due to rain. And that would mean that that coupon holder could then attend the rearranged game without being charged. And while Britain also has a sport with a batsman and a lot of players who just stand around for no reason, the term Raincheck never caught on. Of course, that could also be something to do with the fact that we often turn down invitations in favour of that non-specific thing that we've got going on this weekend. Either way, Britain doesn't use the word Raincheck, just like it doesn't use our final entry, unless you're talking about shoes.
And it rains a lot here.
Yes.
That's right, Hush Puppy, and to me, and admittedly to millions of Americans, Hush Puppy was and is a brand of shoe. So it's very important for British people living in America, like me, to know the difference between the shoe brand and something else that Americans call a Hush Puppy before I put my foot in it, literally in the case of the shoe. Because in the US, and once again, particularly in the southern US, a Hush Puppy is, once again, another type of fried dough. Specifically, it's a ball about the size of a clementine, of deep-fried cornmeal batter. And it sounds disgusting, but it's not. And if there was nobody around to keep an eye on me, I could happily eat 50 of them a day, but I'd no longer be alive. Put it this way, from experience, they do taste better than the shoe. And how do I know that? Because I was 11 years old once. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some other things that the other country doesn't have a word for. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. A butte-sized shout out to all of my patrons who make...
Wow. Okay.
Very, very good. Yeah, I mean, again, he sort of whizzed through them there. So the Hush Puppies look like, something that a Hush Puppy or a puppy might have lost at some stage.
Oh dear.
They do seem to like deep frying things. A bit like the, I mean, we do it. We We have fun with the Scottish, don't we? Deep fried Mars bars.
Oh, deep fried Mars bars.
Everything.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on my light today. Deep fried Mars bars. They do that in Scotland. Yeah, funny, isn't
it? So there you go. Yeah, learnt a few things there. Interesting indeed. So thumbs up to Lawrence for putting us on the right track again.
Yeah, very good. I thought it was very interesting because pretty much every single one of them, always a couple of words I know about. I think jaywalking was the only thing, but we don't have that. He's right about the words. We don't have those words. Not for over here. So.
I mean, we've probably chucked Raincheck around a couple of times, but other than that, all the other ones, all good to go. Nice one.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. There you go. We do not have those over here, so good one. That was part 1. We might follow up with part 2 and 3 that Lawrence has done to see where we go from there. All right, mate. I've gone dark again. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me.
See you later. Take care. Goodbye from him.
Bye.